Happy Thursday, party people. How you doing? It's Kirsten here, your decision coach for the episode. I am so incredibly thrilled to talk to you today about something that has been coming up in a fair few client conversations, and I thought you might need to hear this today, especially since real time it is summer. It is season of fun and sun, and you might be operating in a little bit of a different way than even 3 months ago. And I specifically wanna talk about the decisions we make, about the expectations we set for ourselves, the standards we hold ourselves to, and the plans that we set up for how we're gonna operate in our day-to-day life. We're actually going to call attention to some sneaky all or nothing thinking that might be going on and creating friction in your life without you even recognizing it. Sound fun? I know. I can't wait. So many people waste a ton of time and a ton of energy beating themselves up, making themselves wrong, and trying to force ways of operating that are not going to work well right now just because they don't think that they're being the way that they're supposed to be. I'm not as focused as I should be right now. I'm not waking up when I need to be every day. And these sound innocent. They sound true sometimes. I get it. But when you are noticing these judgments or you notice that you're trying to force yourself to do something that does not feel easy, sometimes it's because you have failed to recognize a season change. Sometimes you miss the reality that your situation has changed. And the situation in which those shoulds were established, I should want this. I should be able to focus on this for this long. I should be waking up at this time and doing this. That situation, the situation where those shoulds came from, is no longer current. It's changed. So, this is what I really want to draw your attention to today. Depending on where you look for your model of success in the world, it can be very easy to feel pressure to just show up, keep showing up consistently, don't make excuses. And obviously, we need a tinge of that thinking to actually do anything outside of our comfort zones, right? You're not going to accomplish big, scary goals and vulnerable growth without leaving your comfort zone. And in order to leave your comfort zone, you need to put in effort and show up more than once. So we get it. We're not entirely mad at that way of thinking. However, this is where the all or nothing mindset can come in and actually sabotage you. Because we can take this overall mindset of this is what it requires to be successful or to be happy or to be fulfilled. I need to follow these rules. We can take those rules and apply them to our entire lives, to our entire being, without leaving any room for adjusting to our human realities. It's kind of like you find a really great gift bag and you're like, great, this is the gift bag I'm going to use for gifts from now on. And the gift bag could be great, could be full of sparkles and confetti, could have streamers popping out of it. But what if the gift that you have to give a particular person on a particular occasion doesn't fit in the bag? What we're doing some of the time is making that an us problem, a problem with who and how we are, instead of just changing the bag. So let's talk real life examples here. Okay. Real time. Like I said, it's summer. I am a person who wakes up early, easily in the summer. It's 5:30. The sun is up. I am awake. I have energy. I feel like a superhuman. It's awesome. I love it. Guess what happens as the sunrise gets later and later, as we get closer and closer into fall and then into winter? It gets harder and harder for me to wake up effortlessly with energy at 5:30. It took me years of repeating this pattern to even notice that I was doing it, because here's what would happen. Every summer, I would be all full of pep early in the morning, feel like a superhuman, and decide, oh my gosh, I'm capable of this. If I'm capable of being like this, I should be able to be like this every day for the rest of time. So when fall and winter turned up and it was harder for me to get up early with energy, I made it a problem about me. I would get mad at myself. Like, hello, you were doing it. Why can't you keep doing it? What's wrong with you? You got there. Why didn't you stay there? And we are doing this to ourselves all over our lives. It never occurred to me that it might be just okay to feel differently in different seasons, literal seasons, like calendar seasons throughout the year. My all or nothing thinking took a snapshot of one moment in time, this season where I'm able to operate in some way easily. And my all or nothing thinking decided that should be locked in. You should be able to do that consistently with ease. Any deviation from that is a regression and a failure. Are you doing this anywhere in your life? I'm curious. And this is not just applicable to calendar seasons. We're talking about seasons all across your life. A season of time when you are completely work focused and you are jazzed about the work you're doing or the business you're building or the project you're on, or a season of life when you have little tiny kids and you are not sleeping, or in my case, a little tiny puppy and you are still not sleeping. Different scenarios, but specific seasons of life, right? When you have less energy, when you have different priorities than you might have even a few months prior. So I would like you to notice if you are either judging or forcing anything right now. I see a lot of people judging themselves, comparing their stamina, let's say today, to their stamina in their 20s. Like, I used to be able to do 12-hour days. What's wrong with me? Why can't I do that anymore? I should be able to. I should be able to operate the same way that I did in an entirely different context, in an entirely different season of life. I see lots of people judging their interests. Like, I should want to go out with my friends more, but I'm super focused on my brand new baby slash puppy. And hitting the bars right now doesn't sound that fun to me. But that means there's something wrong with me because I should want those things because I used to want them, or it's the right thing to do to want them. And I see a lot of people trying to force things that worked in different seasons. Like, I used to be a total notes app person, and it totally worked, getting me through that project. But now it's not working, and I feel totally disorganized, and that means I'm not doing it right. So, if you have anything that you are judging right now, which might look like comparing yourself to a past version of you, however recent or distant, or you have anything that you feel like you're forcing right now, like it's not working and it's not easy, but I'm going to keep expecting this of myself until I get it right. I would like you to check if there has been a season change. Check if you are in a different season that might require different modes of operating, especially if you are comparing yourself to any way you've been in the past. Check if the metrics you're using to make those judgments are even relevant and applicable today. I am not going to stand for this. I say this with love. I will not stand for you sitting here today in today's context of your life beating yourself up and making yourself wrong for not being able to do something the way that you did it 10 years ago. That's not an applicable metric. That's like eating food that is a week old and saying, this doesn't taste the way that it should because it used to be good. That is not a good system for judging things. Okay. Same thing as trying to put a wine fridge in a tiny gift bag and making it a problem that it doesn't fit. Just get a bigger bag. All right. We need to update the metrics we're using to assess how we're doing. If we are performing to our highest potential, if we are meeting our standards. Before you judge if you're meeting your standards, I need you to check if your standards are current. Okay. Because the less concerned you are with perfecting any way of being, any way of operating, and maintaining that way of operating at any cost, the more free you will be to recognize and accept today's truth. When we accept today's truth, this is the context that I'm in, this is the season of life that I'm in, whether I like it or not, when I'm honest about it, then I am empowered to set expectations that align with it, to make game plans that I can actually carry out because they live in the same world that I do. We could go down so many rabbit holes making so many metaphors about this. The one that just occurred to me is that you are trying to play a game operating by rules of another game. How are you going to win at Monopoly if you're trying to follow the rules of Scrabble? What is even going on here? And we gotta laugh at it, right? This is not a judgment fest. This is not an episode about here's everything that you're doing wrong and stop it. We gotta laugh because if you think about it, if you take enough steps back, it's quite nutty to expect the things of yourself today that were only applicable in a different season of life. It's banana pants to think that you should be able to focus for 6 hours straight on something just because you were able to 4 months ago. What was going on 4 months ago that enabled you to do that? And is it okay that it's different now? Is it actually just not a problem that you feel differently and life is different? And can we just update our expectations and the way that we plan to show up in our days accordingly? And can it just not be a problem? And can it specifically not be a problem about you? All those in favor, say aye. All right. I hope this empowers you to do some assessments, maybe do some standard updating, maybe take a little look-see poo at what season you are in right now, and check if you've been making it a problem and see if it feels like you lift a 10-ton weight off your shoulders to not make it a problem and just make it the way things are. And see how it feels to empower yourself to show up and set yourself up for success because now you're working with yourself and not against yourself in this season. I'm jazzed for you. I hope you have so much fun. All right. I have to remind you that this is obviously what I work on with people all day long. The reason that this is on my mind is because this comes up in client conversations, and I want to help you fast track your way out of stress loops and infuriating fights with reality. So if you want to work together so that we can get you in the habit of noticing when you're not working with yourself and make it easier to do so, we need to talk. You can always book your consult to talk with me about what is the best way to work together at kirstenparker.com/schedule. It's in the show notes. And I also need to tell you that Decision Masters Week is coming up. It's in the fall, but you get a discount if you sign up before July 1st. This is going to be a 5-day live event. The replays are included. It's in September, and we are going to deep dive into our decision mastery skills. If you want to up your confidence and make it easier to know what you want and know what you think and not lose an hour or a week or month to all the chatter in your head about what's the right decision? What's going to happen if the worst case scenario happens? What's so and so going to think? Blech. I got you. This is what this week is for. It is going to make everything easier, and you are going to feel so much more in charge of your choices. It's going to be so much fun. So get your discounted ticket at kirstenparker.com/mastery. If it's after July 1st when you're hearing this, I still want you to go sign up, grab your seat, and I will see you there. In the meantime, have a fabulous week. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Hey, want to find out your decision style? Obviously, go take the decision style quiz. It's in the show notes and at kirstenparker.com/quiz. We all have our style when it comes to making decisions, but do you know how to use your default way of thinking to your advantage? Or do you mainly get stuck in the most annoying parts of overthinking and people pleasing? The decision style quiz has your answers, my friend. Take it right now at kirstenparker.com/quiz.